You're an absolute multi-talented baddie, and there's no hiding it anymore. While everyone was busy doubting you, questioning your abilities, and thinking you'd never amount to anything special, you've been quietly mastering multiple skills and preparing to showcase your full power. Now look at them, jaws dropped, eyes wide, completely stunned by what you're capable of. They underestimated you at every turn, but that's their problem, not yours. You never needed their validation, but watching them struggle to process your brilliance is just the cherry on top. This is your moment to shine unapologetically, while they're left with nothing but regret, forever questioning your potential. They underestimated you. Then something shifted, the world tilted, and they saw you for the first time. Your skills, your confidence, the way you carry yourself now, it doesn't make sense to them. You weren't supposed to stand out. You weren't supposed to turn heads. But here you are, standing tall while they struggle to make sense of it. Now, when you speak, the room listens. When you move, people watch. When your name comes up, the same people who dismissed you scramble to explain how they missed it. Did you see what they just did? Wait, when did they get so good at this? Their silence is louder than their words. The same people who once ignored you now study your every move. Some call it luck, some call it unexpected, some act like they always believed in you, but you remember. You remember when they laughed, doubted, ignored, dismissed. You remember when you were invisible. You are unforgettable. They think it happened overnight, don't they? They act shocked, as if you woke up one morning with all this knowledge, all this skill, all this power. But you know the truth. You earned this. While they scrolled, you studied. While they slept, you strategized. While they gossiped, you executed. No cameras, no applause, no audience, just you, putting in the quiet hours while the rest of the world wasted time. They never saw the nights when you nearly quit, the times when nothing worked. The sacrifices, the isolation, the countless moments where you chose growth over comfort. They weren't there when you failed. They didn't hear the self-doubt clawing at your mind. But you pushed through again and again, not because anyone was watching, not because you needed validation, because something deep inside you refused to settle. Your work speaks louder than their disbelief. They whisper, stunned, trying to make sense of it. When did they learn to do that? How did they get so far ahead? They want to believe it was luck, that you had some advantage they didn't, because the truth threatens them. It forces them to acknowledge what they refused to see. You weren't just waiting for success, you were building it. You remember the moment. It wasn't planned. You weren't waiting for approval. You weren't asking for permission. But when you delivered, whether it was a skill, a move, a decision so sharp it sliced through doubt, they weren't ready. Their reactions told you everything. Eyes widened, conversations halted. They tried to hide it, but you saw the disbelief crawl across their faces. Wait, what? Since when could they do that? It wasn't just what you did, it was the way you did it, effortlessly, confidently, without hesitation. And that's what scared them the most, because in that moment they realized something. You had never been behind. You had never been lost, slow, or average. You were silent, you were watching, you were building. And while they laughed, while they doubted, while they wasted their time dissecting your past, you were sculpting your future. They tried to place you in a box, but now that box is in ashes. Because you don't fit into limits. You shatter them. That moment, that revelation, it was inevitable. It had to happen sooner or later, because when you carry greatness, it cannot stay hidden forever. And now they know. They saw you for the first time, and they haven't been able to look away since. Their perception of you? Destroyed. Their expectations? Obsolete. Their opinions? Irrelevant. Because the moment they realized what you were capable of, it was already too late. They need labels. They need a way to define you, to contain you, to make sense of you. The artist, the leader, the strategist, the visionary. They try to fit you into one, but every time they think they've figured you out, you break the mold again. They can't process it. How can someone be both analytical and creative? How can someone be logical yet intuitive? How can someone excel in every space they enter? But that's the difference between you and them. They spent their whole lives specializing. You spent yours mastering. You studied the game from every angle. Business, you understand the moves. Creativity, you speak the language. Psychology, you see through the illusions. Strategy, you bend the rules in your favor. They keep trying to place you on one path, but the truth, you were never meant to walk just one. You are all of it, the visionary and the executor, the artist and the entrepreneur, the master and the student. They can't replicate it because they don't understand it. They built their identity on one skill, one strength, one label. You built yourself on adaptability. They ask, "What are you?" because they can't make sense of it. You are whoever you decide to be. That's what terrifies them. You are limitless. And no matter how hard they try, they will never put you in a box because you are too big to contain. They think it's unfair. They watch you pick up skills in weeks, skills that took them years, and they don't understand how. They stutter through explanations. Maybe they had a head start. Maybe they got lucky. No, the truth? You see through the layers. Most people only learn the surface. They memorize steps, follow instructions, and stop when they think they know enough. You absorb. You break things down into their rawest form, deconstruct the process, analyze every moving part, strip it to its essence. Then you rebuild it better. It's not just intelligence, it's instinct. You don't just read the book, you extract its core principles. You don't just practice a skill, you reverse engineer the genius behind it. You don't just study, you embody. And that's why they can't keep up. They move slow, they cling to outdated methods. You evolve in real time. While they hesitate, you execute. While they overthink, you experiment. While they wait for permission, you already mastered it. They say, it's impossible to be good at everything. But what they don't realize, mastery isn't about being good at everything. It's about understanding the patterns. Once you see the patterns, you can dominate any field. They watch you, confused, threatened, in denial. It doesn't make sense. How are they this good at so many things? Because you were never just learning. You were building a foundation for dominance. And while they stay trapped in their limited pace, you evolve, you adapt, you conquer. They used to be comfortable around you when you were smaller, when you struggled, when you were just another face in the crowd. Back then, they spoke freely, laughed easily, because you weren't a threat. Everything's different. You notice the shift, the way their tone changed when they say your name, the way their laughter feels forced, the way their eyes flicker with something unspoken. They don't say it outright, but you can feel it, that tension when you talk about your wins. That silence after you make a move they didn't expect. That thin smile that doesn't quite reach their eyes. And then the backhanded compliments begin. Wow, must be nice to have everything just fall into place. You changed. You're different now. I just never saw you as the type to be successful like that. It's never direct. Never a full confession of their discomfort, because they won't admit what's really happening. They won't admit that your success is a mirror that forces them to face themselves, because when they see you winning, they don't just see you. They see what they could have been if they had done the work. They see the hours they wasted while you were focused. They see the excuses they made while you were grinding in silence. They try to laugh it off, pretend they don't care, act like your success is just some lucky break. But deep down, they know. You didn't just grow, you outgrew them, and it scares them, because some people were never rooting for you. They were rooting for your limitations. They liked you better when you were easy to predict, when you were less than them, when they didn't have to compare themselves to you. You are undeniable. You take up space. You command attention. You move with a confidence they can't ignore. And for them, that feels like betrayal, because your growth proves they could have done more. And instead of being inspired, they resent you for showing them the truth. But that's not your problem. You don't shrink to make others feel comfortable. You don't dim your light so they can avoid their own reflection. If your success makes them uneasy, that's between them and their insecurities. You're not stopping, not for them, not for their guilt, not for their comfort, because this was never about them. It was always about you. And the only way is forward. They think it's natural, like you just woke up one day and became this version of yourself. But you know better. You built this. Every detail, every movement, every ounce of presence that makes the world pause when you arrive. This wasn't accidental. This was intentional. They don't realize how much thought went into the way you carry yourself. How you studied body language while they scrolled aimlessly. How you sharpened your voice until every word held weight. How you crafted an aura so powerful, people feel it before you even speak. You designed your confidence like an artist shaping a masterpiece. Deliberate, precise, unapologetic, because confidence isn't about being loud. It's about knowing exactly who you are. And when you move, when you command a space, it isn't because of luck, it's because you trained for this. While they were busy doubting themselves, you were practicing presence. While they hesitated, you were mastering self-assurance. They see the end result, the effortless charisma, the controlled power, the unshakable energy. But what they don't see, the discipline, the countless moments you chose self-improvement over self-doubt, the way you rewired your mind to reject weakness, to stand firm in your own essence. They assume confidence is something people are born with. You proved it's something you become, and that's why they don't get it. They think people like you are rare, but the truth, most people just don't put in the work. They don't study human behavior. They don't refine their energy. They don't understand that presence is a strategy. You mastered it. Everywhere you go, people feel you before they see you. They don't know how you did it, and they never will. Because while they're still wondering, still doubting, still questioning, you're already 5 steps ahead. They counted pennies. You built empires. They were obsessed with quick wins, the temporary rush of spending, the illusion of status. You were thinking years ahead. While they flexed their latest purchase, you were stacking assets. While they chased paychecks, you were creating income streams. While they settled for stability, you were crafting wealth. And they never saw it coming, because they only understand what they can see. They saw you pass up distractions. They saw you skip nights out. They saw you turn down things that didn't align, what they didn't see. You studying the game while they wasted time. You investing while they spent. You turning talent into leverage. You didn't just build skills, you monetized them. You didn't just work hard, you worked smart. Your financial independence makes people uncomfortable. They see you moving differently, unbothered, untouchable. How did they do it? Where did all this come from? Because in their minds, you were just like them. Same starting point, same opportunities. So why aren't you struggling like they are? Why aren't you stressed like they are? Because you played the long game. You sacrificed short-term pleasures for long-term dominance. And now their doubt has turned into curiosity. They want to know the secret. They want to understand how you pulled this off. But it's too late, because while they were busy enjoying the present, you were already owning the future, and you're just getting started. They don't get it. They don't understand how you do it. One moment, you're in a high-stakes business meeting, speaking the language of power. The next, you're in a creative space, flowing effortlessly, commanding attention with nothing but presence. Then, you're in a room full of strangers, effortlessly reading the energy, adapting, dominating without even trying. They watch you navigate every space with ease, moving like you've belonged there your whole life. But what they don't realize, you weren't born into this. You built this. Your adaptability isn't luck, it's calculated. You learned how to decode every environment. You mastered the unspoken rules, the hidden power dynamics, the silent cues that tell you who's really in control. They don't see how you shift gears without hesitation, how you speak with executives like you run the company, then switch to creative mode like it's second nature. How you can disarm a skeptic, impress a critic, and outmaneuver a manipulator in the same conversation. It makes them uncomfortable, because while they are trapped in one version of themselves, you have the ability to become whatever the situation demands. That's what real power looks like, not just knowing the game, playing every version of it. They think confidence is about knowing one thing well, but you know better. Confidence is about knowing you can walk into any space, any situation, any world, and own it. They stay in their lane. You rewrite the entire road. They cling to one reality. You bend them all to your will. And the scariest part? You're still expanding. You haven't even shown them everything you can do. They thought they had you figured out. You're limitless, and they'll never catch up. They watch you closely, studying every move, analyzing every word, trying to reverse engineer your success. They think if they can just mimic your confidence, copy your style, steal your approach, they'll get the same results. But deep down, they already know the truth. They can wear what you wear, they can say what you say, they can move like you move, but it will never feel the same, because what you have can't be taught, can't be faked, can't be replicated. Your essence is one of one. Your magic wasn't manufactured, it was forged in fire. Everything you are is the result of every battle you fought, every lesson you've absorbed, every ounce of power you've cultivated. You didn't just learn a formula, you became the blueprint, and that's why they fail. Because imitation without understanding is empty. They copy the results but skip the process. They want the reward without the struggle. They don't have the hours, the nights of doubt, the years of silent work. They don't have the soul, the depth, the divine alignment. Steve Jobs said it best. Innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. And that's the thing. You're a leader. They are followers pretending to lead. They can't create, only replicate. They can't think ahead, only react. And that's why no matter how much they try to walk like you, talk like you, exist like you, they will always be steps behind, because you aren't just skilled, you are divinely guided. And that's something they'll never be able to steal. You are the source. They are just shadows, chasing a light they will never catch. You're already on to the next level, far beyond their reach. They think it's just talent. They think you got here because of one skill, one moment, one stroke of luck. But what they don't realize, this isn't a fluke. This is a system. You didn't just pick up random skills. You designed a method, a blueprint for continuous evolution. While they focused on the destination, you mastered the process. While they chased short-term wins, you created long-term dominance. This is why you keep leveling up while they plateau, because you don't just learn, you break things apart, analyze, reconstruct, and master. You apply psychology, intuition, and discipline in ways they will never grasp. They finally see it now. They're looking at you, watching in disbelief. How did they get so far ahead? When did they become this unstoppable? The truth? By the time they noticed, you were already years ahead, because while they waited for opportunities, you built your own. While they tried to copy others, you studied every angle, every weakness, every way to improve. Your mind doesn't work like theirs. You don't just consume information, you weaponize it. You don't just work hard, you work with precision. You don't just stay consistent, you stay relentless. This is why they don't understand you. You don't just have a talent, you have a formula, one that makes you untouchable, one that allows you to adapt, master, evolve, while they remain the same. And by the time they figure out what you've done, you're already onto something bigger. They will always be trying to catch up. You will never stop moving forward, because you didn't just learn how to win. You built a system where winning is inevitable. They watch you now, eyes wide, mouths tight, trying to reconcile what they once believed with what they now see. They applaud, they nod in approval, they whisper your name in conversations where they once ignored it. But their recognition means nothing because you were never waiting for it. Their praise is delayed, their acknowledgement is shallow. Where were they when you were building in silence? Where were they when you fought through every failure, every setback, every night of self-discipline that they will never experience? You already validated yourself, and that is why their applause will never hold power over you. Because applause is temporary, evolution is eternal. You are not stopping, not for their admiration, not for their skepticism, not for their sudden eagerness to stand beside you now that the work is done. They are spectators. You are unstoppable. Because this was never about proving them wrong. You were never playing their game, never waiting for their permission, never concerned with their timelines. You were proving yourself right. Every lesson, every skill, every calculated move, yours. Every moment you chose growth over comfort, yours. Every time you walked into a space and owned it before they even realized what was happening, yours. You were self-made. Self-assured, self-sustaining, and because of that, they will never be able to take credit for your rise. They can watch, they can whisper, they can react, but they will never own a piece of your success, because every victory belongs to you. This is only the beginning.